in Invercargill, getting out and about to a few different places. I've caught up with Mark Smith from Southern Red. Firstly, Mark, welcome back to Campbell's Comments.
Well, thank you, Paul. It's good to see you finally make it down to South, and you've been to New Zealand a few times and you've made it to the good old South, so it's good to see you down here.
Everyone tells me it's cold. It's beautiful weather today. I don't know what everyone complains about. It's a lovely day down here.
Oh, it's like this all the time, mate.
It is obviously a little bit of a different climate. Everything's so beautiful and green. Obviously, high rainfall, and with that you get a lot of rain, but it must be a beautiful place to raise a horse.
Oh, it's the best place. I mean, I reckon since December through till now, we haven't had a lot of rain. I reckon we've probably had 12 days of rain, but it just comes at the right time when you need it, and the pastures are still growing really good.
Shard Farm, yourself and Debbie run and manage and own Shard Farm, and the Shard name synonymous in, most states. There'll be a horse going around with the Shard moniker next to it. How long have you guys been here?
We've been here about 23, 24 years. I think we bought in 1996, yeah.
What brought about Shard Farm for us? Where does the Shard come from?
Well, it actually comes from, there's a winery in central Otago called Shard Farm, Chard, and when Debbie enjoyed drinking wine, we went there a few times, so we just changed the C to an S, so that's where that actually comes from. So Shard comes from the winery, yes.
Very scientific reason. So enjoying an afternoon out, and we'll use that as our name for the old monarchy. Yeah. But it has stuck. What about the harness racing, I suppose, love and that? Where did that come from?
Well, when Debbie and I first bought this property, she had 2 riding horses, and we've got this, only had 10 acres and 2 paddocks, and it was just riding horses, and one was Holly and one was Sage, and we went to shows and all that, and then we started a family, and of course you can't work your horses, so we put them aside, and then all of a sudden a couple of brood mares popped up for Uncle up in Geraldine, and it started from there. Like, he sent down 2 not so well bred mares, and they had foals, and the story went from there. One we raced, Kauai Rock with Doug McLaughlin. That was the first horse he raced, and then the other one was a Live or Die. I think his name was Live or Let Die, and he went through the sales in 2000, and that was the first horse we put through, and I think we got 10,000 for him. And then we rang up John Gresham and said, what do we do? He said, buy a brood mare with black print. We said, well, what's black print? So that's how naive we were. And in those days there was no modern technology. We contacted the guy from New Zealand Bloodstock, can't remember his name, he lives in a teepee in Russia now, and he sent down about 4 foot of fax pages with brood mares on. The best on the page was Sly Soakey, and that's where the story began. And she was in foal to Panorama, and her first foal was Sly Shard, and Sly Shard's produced Smyne Shard, Mac Shard and Pemberton Shard, so that's how the story began.
So there was no real harness racing tie when you started it out, if you like, apart from an uncle, and basically then it just continued from there.
It did, yeah. There was we weren't harness trainers, we weren't from harness families. It was just an idea we got, and it just all happened from there. Yeah.
Did you think it'd get to where it's got to now?
Absolutely not. No. We've probably got approximately, Debbie and I approximately own about 30 standardbreds right now, between racehorses, weanlings, yearlings and brood mares, so it sort of has blossomed.
Well, it has indeed. Do you enjoy it? I ask this question a lot, and I think people say, of course they're going to say they enjoy it, but do you actually enjoy the breeding component of it and what you guys have achieved, or has it become a little bit bigger than what you probably set out to strive to do?
We do absolutely enjoy it, and it's probably got bigger than what we expected, because we've had such great success. But I must admit, this year our sales in February weren't fantastic. They were very average. So we're rethinking what we're doing now. Actually, selling brood mares, and going to stop breeding off a couple, because you've got to. You can't keep on going. You're breeding 10 every year and not getting good results. So we love what we're doing, and right now I think at Rangiora workouts today we've got 3 of our progeny going around. So you're always looking at young horses, and we had 2 winners at the weekend. We had Onyx Shard at Cambridge, we had Mac Shard across in Australia again. So they're all going good and they're all winning, so that's what keeps you going.
Yeah,
and results. Yeah,
and it keeps you driving. And you got to, I suppose, stay with the times. You were saying there before about getting a massive ream full of facts and the likes. Now it's a lot easier, but I suppose it might be easier. You still got to keep up to date with them all, watch all the results, and keep a good eye on where the horses are, because they race everywhere now.
They are. Yeah, they're racing. All over Australia and all over New Zealand. We've had a couple of that have been sold to the States. And Rockin' Shard, she's still doing a huge job over there. That's out of all-time glory. And it's you're busy looking at results all the time. Yeah.
You said you didn't have a great year this year. You did actually have an okay year, especially with some that you prepared, and that. But the year before, you guys, yourself and Debbie, had a really good year, and it was a nice little kick along for you.
Oh yes, like even during the COVID, 2 sales during COVID, we had good years, which was great. But I think it's just a flow-on effect now. And I mean, I'm not knocking anybody, but I think it's now a luxury to actually have a horse, and it's just showing in the results. And I mean, hopefully, we can solve that problem, maybe with more syndications, people coming in on more shares of horses, and hopefully it has better results in the years to come.
Oh, absolutely. And I think there's a lot of people working on things. I know there's a function down here on the weekend, and there's people definitely working, thinking outside the square, and that's what we need to do with most of it. Southern Red is actually how I got to know yourself and John Stuyven, and then the rest of the crew flowed on from that through COVID. We were doing a couple of remote promotions, if you like, and that. How did that all come about? Do you enjoy that?
Oh, absolutely. Just it's a great way to promote your yearlings together. I mean, we're sort of a cooperative together, but we still rowing the boat all in the same way to betterment the whole industry. So it is great, and it's I think it's the envy of a lot of breeders in New Zealand, and and they look at what we're doing down here, and it's just a fantastic job, that the way we all operate and get on together, and we get the results. Like, I think we've just topped the sales for 10 years in a row with that Heart of Dixie one. So I mean, Southern Bred are continually topping the sales, which keeps you on the map and gets people still interested in what's coming out of all the farms in Southland.
And you get to work together as a bit of a team when you're there at the sales, because you are a long way. How far is it to Crossstretch?
It's about it's 365 miles. So it's when Inter-Island or Majestic pulled up here, we had all 15 horses on one float, and they left here at 4:30 in the morning. They got to Christchurch about 1:30. So it's a good 8.5, 9 hour float trip. Yes, yeah.
Which is a big effort. But I mean, if you can get there and you've got familiar faces and you're all in the same stable environment, and I suppose the familiarity of rocking up to the sales and know you're going to be in amongst those guys as well makes it a little bit easier. You're always sort of all in the same group together. Yeah,
correct. And I mean, if there's any problems or someone doesn't have gear or they're short of a leader, I mean, we all do get in and chip in, and absolutely. And for first time preparers like Trevor and Diane, we gave them a little bit of advice, and I'm sure it was taken on board. And we do all help each other and chip in, definitely.
For Shard Farm, yourself and Debbie, I'm going to get in trouble saying this to Deb, but you're okay. You're not getting any younger. You're going to continue breeding on for as long as you can?
Oh, absolutely, yes. We are cutting down this year, but that doesn't mean, that means absolutely nothing. We're just, Shards and Morris across in the other paddock there, she just produced a Group 1 winner this year, and then Delightful Shard, she just produced a 2-year-old winner on Thursday night. So the passion to carry on is still there. We're still producing winners, and that's what keeps you going. And we'll slow down a wee bit, but definitely not stopping.
Oh, very good, Mark. Thank you very much for joining me. It's weanling time for you, but you don't sell the weanlings, but Macca is. But you keep your weanlings in there, so it's a busy time still for you. There's never a dull moment. I think sometimes people think I breed horses, and there's only a couple of times you're busy, but the mares keep you busy all year round, one way or another, don't they?
Well, I mean, it's a famous saying, yearling preparation never stops. It's just 365 days a year. We're feeding all the mares and foals at the moment, and we've weaned 7 so far. We've just got 2 to go, so we're well through this year, which is a lot easier, because last year we left it till late and the weanings just get too big to handle, so it's a lot easier on the bodies to do it early in the year.
Very good, Mark. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for helping me out too for the year and that. And look forward to seeing you back in February. If I don't see you again beforehand, I'm going to see you at Diamond Date on Sunday.
We'll see you Friday night at the, and Sunday.
And Sunday on Diamond Day, which is a huge meeting down here for Invercargill as well. So, thank you very much, mate, and really appreciate your time.
Well, thanks, Paul. We'll see you. Right here.